You're listening to the Acadiana's Morning News Podcast, brought to you by LABI and always on KPEL965.com.
Against child abuse, BACA exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children. We exist as a body of bikers to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. We stand ready to lend support to our wounded friends by involving them with an established, united organization. We work in conjunction with local and state officials who are already in place to protect children. We desire to send a clear message to all involved with the abused child that this child is part of our organization and that we are prepared to lend our physical and emotional support to them by affiliation and our physical presence. We stand at the ready to shield these children from further abuse. We do not condone the use of violence or physical force in any manner. However, if circumstances arise such that we are the only obstacle preventing a child from further abuse, we stand ready to be that obstacle. If you'd like to know more about BACA, please visit our website at bacaworld.org or call 1-866-71-ABUSE.
Dear John, uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. But when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
To get your high blood pressure to a healthy range, visit heart.org/blood pressure. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette. Broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Honoring heroes 80 years after D-Day. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Biden's in Normandy, France, along with many veterans in wheelchairs. He even sang to one of them. Happy birthday, dear. The average age of those who survived D-Day, the key to Allied World War II invasion, is 100. Fox's Kevin Uretsky has the story of two of them.
101-year-old American veteran Bob Gibson landed on Utah Beach.
You wouldn't believe what I've seen.
Ralph Goldsticker is one of those men. He says simply,
We did our job and we came home and that's it.
While Gibson says even though it's been 80 years, he still remembers.
You better believe it, like it happened yesterday.
President Biden will also visit a cemetery in Normandy where about 2,500 Americans were killed. Fox's Peter Ducey reads a statement
that says, today, we remember all the Americans who laid down their lives on D-Day to help end the tyranny of fascism across Europe, liberate oppressed peoples, and ensure the flame of liberty would burn bright around the world.
Now, the U.S. and our allies have just put out a statement calling on Hamas and Israel to agree to a ceasefire hours after Israel's military hit a school in Gaza. Israel says Hamas was using it as a compound to plot attacks. Palestinian officials say it was housing refugees, at least 33 civilians killed. A tornado hit Michigan, doing damage in Livonia. One uprooted tree crashed down onto a house.
Landing on a bed in the bedroom in the back of the house where a mother and her 2-year-old were laying.
Fire Chief Robert Jennison says the little boy died. His mom's in critical condition. A Georgia appeals court has put a halt to the Trump election interference case in that state while they consider allegations of misconduct against DA Fani Willis days after the Trump conviction in New York. The former president went on Fox's Hannity again, saying he's a political target.
A system that is so corrupt. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. I did nothing wrong in any of these things.
Prosecutors at Hunter Biden's federal trial could rest their case against the president's son today on federal felony gun charges. America's listening to Fox News.
You know, our friends at Henry Repeating Arms, they manufacture a line of very high quality rifles, shotguns, and revolvers that you can be very proud to own. Now, they're made in America with parts and materials also from America. Now, they use old world craftsmanship combined with cutting edge technology to deliver reliable and accuracy that you can trust in any situation. Now, they're easy to use and maintain. It makes them an excellent choice for both a novice and experienced shooter. Henry has over 200 models, so you can find the firearm that's right for you. There's also new releases all throughout the year. And every purchase is backed by their lifetime warranty and the company's owner. Anthony Imperato also gives his personal guarantee for 100% satisfaction. Now, make sure you go to their website, henryusa.com. Order their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog, free decals, and a list of dealers where you are. You're going to love this company and these firearms like I do.
Among the world leaders attending D-Day commemoration ceremonies in France, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. But Russia's president is not, as his forces keep waging war inside Ukraine. Vladimir Putin warned yesterday that Russia could use nuclear weapons if there's a threat to their sovereignty. And as the U.S. and NATO allies allow Ukraine to use weapons they've supplied to attack targets inside Russia, Putin said Russia could send weapons to other countries to potentially strike Western targets. In addition to that,
two unnamed senior Biden administration officials say the U.S. is tracking a handful of Russian warships and aircraft that are expected to arrive in the Caribbean for a military exercise in the coming weeks, explaining they could make port calls in Cuba and Venezuela, describing the exercise as notable but not concerning, adding Congress has been notified and they expect the ships to remain in the region through summer. This part of Russia's effort to establish a military presence in the Western Hemisphere amid tensions over the U.S.'s support for Ukraine. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
There are some bad cucumbers out there. The CDC says they're behind a salmonella outbreak that got people sick in 25 states.
Last week, testing found the bacteria in a cucumber that led to a recall of whole cucumbers at Fresh Start Produce in Delray Beach, Florida, which then recalled cucumbers shipped to certain states from May 17th to May 21st. The CDC and the FDA are also investigating an outbreak of a second type of salmonella that has sickened at least 158 people in nearly 24 states to see whether it's connected to the same food. Salmonella can cause severe illness in young children, older people, and those with weakened immune systems. Lisa Lacera, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed after a record day. The Nasdaq surged up 330 points to a new all-time high. The S&P 500 also had a record high close. The Dow did not, but it did gain 96 points. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Happy Thursday from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham. Well, more of the same as far as rain coming through the area, but not going to be as severe as we've seen the last several days. Now, Wednesday seemed to ease a little bit off of what we had seen from earlier in the week, and Thursday, some more scattered showers, but even easing off of what we saw on Wednesday. Still going to have temperatures that are getting quite warm and chances of scattered showers like we see normally throughout this time of the year. But by the time we get to Friday, we're going to have the heat index pushing into the triple digits. A heat advisory may be on the way, maybe a couple of showers, but not near what we saw earlier this week. He was a titan of health services here in Louisiana, and he's now dead at 76. Richard Zuschlag, who built Acadian Ambulance into the powerhouse it was, passed away. He moved to Lafayette in 1970 from Pennsylvania and started a company with 2 ambulances that eventually grew into the country's largest privately held medical transportation company. He died early on Wednesday morning from complications following cancer treatment. That company, Acadian Ambulance, remains based in Lafayette, has 5,200 employees, and operates in 4 states and 37 parishes in Louisiana. The employees own about 80% of the company, according to the Acadiana Advocate, under an employee stock ownership plan, or ESOP. And in a story that went viral earlier this week, 2 Opelousas residents have now been arrested after the video circulated showing that they were throwing puppies into the dumpster of a local business. Jasmine Mouton and Kendall Tyler, both 22, were arrested on Tuesday, according to lead investigator Spencer Cornett. They face counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. The video went viral online, and police asked for assistance in identifying the pair. A neighbor informed the owner of Sebastian's West End Seafood that the 2 dogs were left inside the business's dumpster. When the video footage was released, it sparked outrage online. It was their personal dogs, said the investigator, Cornett. The dogs had chewed some wire inside their home and tore the house up, and they took their frustration out on the dogs. And yes, the baseball season may be over for the LSU Tigers, but that does mean transfer portal drama. Right-handed pitcher for the Tigers, Aiden Moffett, revealed on Wednesday via social media he's going to be entering the transfer portal after playing 2 seasons with the Tigers. Now, he did say Forever LSU in the tweet that he posted. He pitched in only 1 game during the 2023 season, but saw significant time out of the LSU bullpen in 2024. He went 0-1 with a 5.6 ERA in 16 appearances, striking out 21 and walking 12 in 17 2/3 innings. That is a look at your morning news from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham.
I heard the call to serve, so I answered. I earned a title and discovered my purpose. I found belonging, an unbreakable bond with my fellow Marines. We fought to overcome adversity together in defense of our nation and its people. I've lived a full life, rich with meaning. And even though I no longer wear the uniform, I am still a Marine. My service has come full circle. I will always look after those around me. I will always uplift and support my country and my community. Because that is the promise I made.
This hour of Acadiana's Morning News has been brought to you by Jani King. The King of Clean has been a leader in the cleaning industry on the Gulf Coast for over 35 years. To find out more about their cleaning and disinfecting services, head to their website at janiking.com.
We've got a much drier forecast out there today with a few isolated showers still possible, but a little more typical for this time of year. They're going to be driven by heat and humidity. Highs today up at about 92 degrees with winds coming in from the north at about 5 miles an hour. Overnight lows sit in the mid to upper 70s, and tomorrow we got a hot one, 95 degrees out there for the high. Heat index is going to push up probably about 104, 105 through the day. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Thank you, Daniel. Currently, we have 73 degrees.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
And good Thursday morning to you. Normally, this time of the morning, all roads are clear, no slowdowns. But this morning, unfortunately, I-10 has an issue, and it's, I call it the worst of the worst. We have a wreck with injuries. I-10 westbound within the corporate limits of Lafayette. It looks like it's mile marker 104. But again, I-10 westbound in Lafayette, wreck with injuries. So just be cautious in that area if you're on I-10 westbound coming through Lafayette. Definitely want to keep the road clear for those emergency vehicles. Short time out, then we begin Acadiana's Morning News. And good morning, Acadiana. Welcome in to Acadiana's Morning News. Mark Pope with you on this Thursday, and our other guest will complete the lineup here on Thursday. Tracy Wirtz out taking care of some business. Tracy should be back with us tomorrow. So glad you joined us. A busy day today. We have Lafayette Live with representatives from Lafayette Consolidated Government. Mayor Monique Boulay comes in when she can, but we will be today with Lafayette Consolidated Government Chief of Staff Christina DeRees telling us what's going on over at Lafayette Consolidated Government. Also, our law enforcement segment coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. So a lot to cover on this Thursday morning. And, of course, if you've been listening to Fox News just before this programming, you will have heard about the 80th anniversary of D-Day. And so we're going to kind of continue that theme throughout the morning show this morning. Rather than just give you a brief overview, we're going to give you interesting facts about D-Day throughout the morning. So there was a very interesting segment with General Jack Keane. He is a Fox News contributor, and he is with the Institute of the Study of War. Very good overview by General Keane in the 5 o'clock hour here on KPEL, and again, along the Fox News network. So D-Day, what does the D stand for? Well, it's military jargon. D-Day means the first day of a major military operation. Hence, D-Day, June 6th, 1944. And, of course, we know that the invasion of Normandy. And we know about it was a hellacious situation on Omaha Beach, but there was much more. There were 5 beaches in total for D-Day, and we will cover those beaches, but the most intense fighting happened on Omaha Beach. So, June 6th, 1944, Allied forces launched Operation Overlord, the code name for the massive Allied invasion of Normandy, France, with more than 150,000 troops, ending with approximately 10,000 casualties on both sides, that is, the Allied forces as well as German forces. And it was a pivotal battle in World War II. And there was a lot of strategy behind that move. And just a really lot of interesting facts behind D-Day, just the sheer number and magnitude of the operation. General Dwight Eisenhower was the supreme commander of Operation Overlord, and Operation Overlord involved coordinated efforts of 15 nations. 12 nations sent troops to Operation Overlord. Omaha Beach, one of the 5 beaches where the landings happened on June 6th, 1944. 34,000 troops landed at Omaha Beach. 2,400 casualties. U.S. forces were the majority of the casualties, 50-odd%. And the other beaches, by the way, of course, Omaha Beach, where the most intense fighting happened, there was Utah Beach, Gold, Juneau, and Sword beaches. And you say, well, what are those, like beach resorts, and they had the name? No, those were code names for the various beaches in Normandy where Allied troops landed. The planning for Operation Overlord began in late 1943. 5,000 planes. I believe the numbers are here in my notes. 10,000 sorties flown by 5,000 planes. Over 7,000 ships and landing craft were used to deploy those 150,000 troops on the 5 beaches. So there's your quick overview. And as I said, facts throughout the morning about D-Day, June 6th, 1944. It was really a pivotal time in our nation's history, in world history for that matter. So we will continue giving the facts behind D-Day right here on News Talk 96.5 KPL. We'll take our first time out and come back with a guest talking about some special activities in one of our neighbors down the road, a beautiful Sunset, Louisiana. So take this time out, and we'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Fox on Tech. Former President Donald Trump takes his campaign to TikTok. He announced his arrival on the app with a video of him at a UFC fight, introduced by CEO and president of the UFC, Dana White.
The president is now on TikTok. It's my honor.
The video then goes on to show a compilation of shots of the former president waving and mingling with the crowd.
Well done, right?
The businessman's account gained more than 1 million followers by Sunday, and by Monday morning, he was already up to 3.6 million globally, just days after becoming the first former president to be found guilty of felony charges. Former President Trump joins his political opponent, President Joe Biden, on TikTok, who signed a bill in April that could potentially ban the app in a year.
If Trump's stock in the Truth Social, his company, drops any lower, he might do better under my tax plan than his.
The social media site has more than 1 billion active users, with more than 150 of those in the United States. With Fox on Tech, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
Good Thursday morning. Welcome back into Acadiana's Morning News. Mark Pope flying solo here on this Thursday morning. And that was an intentional statement, flying solo, because we're going to introduce our guest right now. Taylor Elliott is working with St. Mary Residential Training School. They're having a big fundraiser this Saturday, June 8th, and it's called Rockin' on the Runway. Taylor, good morning. Thanks for your time. Yes, indeed. Taylor said, good morning, Mark. Thanks for having me. And I didn't have her mic on, but we have it on now. So this sounds like a very interesting event. It's a fundraiser for St. Mary Residential Training School. Before we talk about the particulars of Rockin' on the Runway, Taylor, tell us about St. Mary Residential Training School.
Sure. So St. Mary's is home to over 200 residents with developmental disabilities. One of them is my brother-in-law, Cole Elliott, who's been there for 19 years. Their residents range in age from 5 to about 56, and they're there for life.
Wow. And you told me about 200 residents are currently housed over at St. Mary Residential?
That's correct. They're currently housed there. They have close to 25 to 30 group homes. So these residents are all in different homes, and about half of them are from right here in Acadiana.
Mm-hmm. So these are folks who are developmentally challenged?
Correct. My brother-in-law specifically has autism, but it's across the board. They take care of all of their needs.
And so they're trained in life skills, and do as many of the residents as possible work out in the general public?
They do give them lots of opportunities, so they're definitely job opportunities. They'd like to connect them with the community as much as possible, and they also bring in people to run classes with them, and they also have an ABA therapy center, which is huge for the autistic community.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. I've heard about this, about St. Mary, and I'm so glad you're in talking about it, because it's another one of those great organizations in Acadiana. So, big fundraiser this coming Saturday, June 8th, Rockin' on the Runway at a private airstrip in Sunset, Louisiana. It's going to be a 6.5-hour event from 4 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. So give us the particulars. What's going to happen at Rockin' on the Runway. People can attend, but it is a fundraiser and there is a cost. So give us all those details, please.
Sure. So it's this Saturday, June 8th. Gates open at 4 p.m. It is open to the public. What you'll see when you're there is a car show. We also have live music with DJ Digital, Nickel Beer. We have food, drinks, a great kids area, but the biggest draw is our aerobatic air show. So we actually fly in performers from all over the country, and they come and do an air show right in our backyard. That will last about an hour and a half.
Wow. That's absolutely incredible. And so you said this is the fourth year that Rockin' on the Runway has happened.
Correct. This is our fourth big event. We've actually done it for 5 years, but that was a small private event to kick it off, and it did really well. So here we are.
Right. I think our weather tells us, and I have a weather sheet. Let's see. What do we? It's usually just today and tomorrow. I think chance of rain is minimal. But what happens if we have some sprinklings? Does that interfere with the with the flight show?
So we just monitor the weather closely. As of right now, we're not concerned, and we're kind of not talking about the weather. But
Gotcha.
We do have a rain day scheduled. So if you do purchase a ticket, we'll have a rescheduled day for you guys to still come out and enjoy the event. But right now, we're not concerned about it, and we think it's going to be a beautiful day.
Okay. How does St. Mary operate? Obviously, this is a fundraiser. And you're doing the Lord's work with, working with developmentally challenged individuals. But what are some of the other funding sources to operate St. Mary Residential Training School throughout the year?
So St. Mary's does receive some state funding, or their residents can get state funding. However, they are privately operated, and they are a nonprofit. So this is run through St. Mary's Families and Friends, which is their nonprofit organization. So they do have to do a lot of fundraising throughout the year, and they are currently accepting donations, and they do every day.
So our biggie, the fundraising event, Rockin' on the Runway, now that's a private event. We need to talk about how to get there, how to find the location in Sunset, so on and so forth. But is St. Mary Residential Training School located in Sunset as well?
So no, St. Mary's is actually located in Alexandria. So when I say that 50% of their residents are from Acadiana, they are just the closest resource that those families have.
Gotcha. Very, very interesting. And you're, like you said, your brother, there's motivation for your family to be involved with this because your brother has been at St. Mary Residential Training School for 19 years. And so I think it's, it shows your heart has, the big family, the big heart, and the sincerity to want to help out this training school in Alexandria. Very, very interesting. So a good time to be had by all. Rockin' on the Runway is on a private land strip, which I believe your family owns, Taylor, correct?
Yes, correct. It's my in-laws' property. So it's 46 acres with a private airstrip and hangar. The event takes place on the grounds. We have tractor rides that will bring you around so you can enjoy everything.
Well, 46 acres is... That's the site where Rockin' on the Runway is?
Yes, correct.
And DJ Digital, just right down the hall from us on our sister station, Hot 107.9, he's a bundle of fun. So so kind of, even though it's not a festival, it is a fun event. And there's all those things to bring the entire family and have fun, and you're helping a great, great cause. So a ticket is necessary. Tell us how to get the ticket and tell us how to find out exactly in Sunset where this private land strip is located.
So tickets are $20 currently pre-sale. That pre-sale will end Saturday morning. At the gate, it's going to cost you $25, so get them ahead. Kids 12 and under are free. I have 4 kids, so I get that, and we want to give everybody the accessibility to join us. You can find us online to buy tickets, rotr-la.com. We're also on social media at ROTRLA, and you can find us, just put us Red Oak Landing in your maps, and it'll take you right to us.
Red Oak Landing. Let me write that. And that is actually inside of Sunset or outside of Sunset town?
It's inside of Sunset, nearing the Opelousas border, but yes, we're in Sunset. So the physical address is 2303 Highway 178 in Sunset, but Red Oak Landing will take you right there.
Red Oak Landing, that is the name of the airstrip. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Sounds like a blast. And what about the car show? What if somebody wants to bring their car? Do they need to register ahead?
So you don't have to register ahead, but we do recommend it. We'll give you lots of useful information once we do receive your registration, like an early arrival time to be able to park before we open the gates publicly. Anyone is welcome to come. There's no particulars on the car that you bring or the vehicle that you bring, and we really love to have you come out.
Sure, but you don't have to go and enjoy the cars, enjoy the music, enjoy the air show. It's for a great cause, St. Mary Residential Training School, located in Alexandria, and you've great family fun, an air show. What kind of planes are going to be flying, Taylor?
So we personally will have warbirds actually giving rides. I forgot to mention that. So that's another fun aspect. We have so many things going on. But this year, our headlining act is Ghost Rider Air Shows. He does a day show with skywriting, but by night, he will be doing a pyro show off of his plane. We also have a T6 team called the Titan Aerobatic Team. SRC Air Shows is in his special green Raptor. We also have a Pink Thunder Stearman warplane, and then we will have a few others just kind of sprinkled throughout. So it's really a great show.
It sounds like a blast. Okay, so get information, get your tickets at rotr-la.com. And when you enter, if you want to find the location of the airstrip in Sunset, it's called Red Oak Landing.
That's correct.
Okay, outstanding. Very. I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you pack in those 46 beautiful acres in Sunset, and everybody attending has a blast. Just know, folks, if you attend, you're helping a great, great cause. Okay, great. Taylor Elliott giving us that information, representing St. Mary Residential Training School. Go on out this Saturday, have a good time, and help a very good cause. Thanks again, Taylor.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a time out. Back with more Acadiana's Morning News coming up shortly.
KPEL covers Acadiana with Lowry's Printing and Copying.
Join the Hilliard Art Museum on St. Mary Boulevard in Lafayette for their annual summer reception Friday, June 14th, as they celebrate their 2024 exhibitions. Loads of beautiful artwork by local renowned artists. And the beautiful artwork is complemented by hors d'oeuvres, drinks, and music. Get more details at 482-2278. Second Harvest Food Bank hosting its third annual Duck Derby to benefit families facing hunger in Acadiana. The event is Saturday, June 29th at St. Julian Park in Broussard, 1 to 4 p.m. Loads of family fun. And if your ducky wins, you're helping a great organization and you could win some prizes. Find out about purchasing your ducks. Go to no-hunger.org/ducks. See you in Broussard, June 29th.
This is House Call for Health. A longtime member of Congress confirms she has cancer. Texas Democratic Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who's been in the House since 1995 and serves on 3 important committees, announcing she has pancreatic cancer and is undergoing treatment. Jackson Lee says she may occasionally be absent from Congress, but will continue to serve, and that her doctors have the best plan to combat the cancer. Lee serves on the Judiciary, Homeland Security, and Budget committees. The Mayo Clinic describes this type of cancer as beginning as a growth of cells in the pancreas, which lies behind the lower part of the stomach and makes enzymes that help digest food and hormones that help manage blood sugar. The Mayo Clinic adds it's rarely caught at early stages because it doesn't usually cause symptoms until after it is spread to other organs. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Happy Thursday from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham. Well, more of the same as far as rain coming through the area, but not going to be as severe as we've seen the last several days. Now, Wednesday seemed to ease a little bit off of what we had seen from earlier in the week, and Thursday, some more scattered showers, but even easing off of what we saw on Wednesday. Still going to have temperatures that are getting quite warm and chances of scattered showers like we see normally throughout this time of the year. But by the time we get to Friday, we're going to have the heat index pushing into the triple digits. A heat advisory may be on the way, maybe a couple of showers, but not near what we saw earlier this week. He was a titan of health services here in Louisiana, and he's now dead at 76. Richard Zuschlag, who built Acadian Ambulance into the powerhouse it was, passed away. He moved to Lafayette in 1970 from Pennsylvania and started a company with 2 ambulances that eventually grew into the country's largest privately held medical transportation company. He died early on Wednesday morning from complications following cancer treatment. That company, Acadian Ambulance, remains based in Lafayette, has 5,200 employees, and operates in 4 states and 37 parishes in Louisiana. The employees own about 80% of the company, according to the Acadiana Advocate, under an employee stock ownership plan, or ESOP. And in a story that went viral earlier this week, 2 Opelousas residents have now been arrested after the video circulated showing that they were throwing puppies into the dumpster of a local business. Jasmine Mouton and Kendall Tyler, both 22, were arrested on Tuesday, according to lead investigator Spencer Cornett. They face counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. The video went viral online, and police asked for assistance in identifying the pair. A neighbor informed the owner of Sebastian's West End Seafood that the 2 dogs were left inside the business's dumpster. When the video footage was released, it sparked outrage online. It was their personal dogs, said the investigator, Cornett. The dogs had chewed some wire inside their home and tore the house up, and they took their frustration out on the dogs. And yes, the baseball season may be over for the LSU Tigers, but that does mean transfer portal drama. Right-handed pitcher for the Tigers, Aiden Moffitt, revealed on Wednesday via social media he's going to be entering the transfer portal after playing 2 seasons with the Tigers. Now, he did say Forever LSU in the tweet that he posted. He pitched in only 1 game during the 2023 season, but saw significant time out of the LSU bullpen in 2024. He went 0-1 with a 5.6 ERA in 16 appearances, striking out 21 and walking 12 in 17 2/3 innings. That is a look at your morning news from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham.
All right, folks, let's get started. Parents, thanks for coming.
As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation, that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So, how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me, and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
We've got a much drier forecast out there today with a few isolated showers still possible, but a little more typical for this time of year. They're going to be driven by heat and humidity. Highs today up at about 92 degrees with winds coming in from the north at about 5 miles an hour. Overnight lows sit in the mid to upper 70s, and tomorrow we got a hot one, 95 degrees out there for the high. Heat index is going to push up probably about 104, 105 through the day. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Thank you, Daniel. Currently, we have 73 degrees.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, just one issue on the board, and I am a bit confused. The issue on the board is a wreck with injuries, I-10 westbound within the corporate limits of Lafayette, and it appears to be mile marker 104. And maybe my confusion is, let me speculate, because there now is showing another vehicle accident at mile marker 103. No, this is I-49, in Karen Crow. So it looks like mile marker 300 southbound I-49 around Karen Crow. We do have a wreck there. I do apologize. I was reading that as I-10, but another wreck on the interstates, one on I-49 southbound in Karen Crow, the other westbound on I-10 in Lafayette. Keep those areas in mind. Buckle it up and keep it safe. Welcome back to Acadiana's Morning News. Good Thursday morning, everybody. Nice conditions out there right now. A slight possibility of rain as we go along, but no rain right here in the KPEL studios. Hopefully you're having a good Thursday morning. And to add to our enlightenment on this Thursday morning, we're going to talk about the legislative session that just concluded on June 3rd. And right now we are honored to have State Representative Beau Bollier in to speak to us about that session. Representative Bollier, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Okay, tell our listeners, Beau, what is your district number? And then if you would kind of describe the geographic outline of your legislative district.
Yeah, so it's District 48, and it comprises a big portion of Iberia Parish and southern Lafayette Parish. So it takes in portions of Youngsville, a lot of the Broussard area, and then a sliver, probably about 5% of the districts in St. Martin Parish. So if you can configure that Iberia, Lafayette, St. Martin corridor area, those tri-parish areas is where I represent.
Yep, you got a big area there, and it's highly populated, especially in South Lafayette, and of course our neighbors to the east in Iberia Parish. They too have a very nice parish and a good population base. So
yep,
okay,
from Lowerville to Bayou Tortue.
There you go. Okay, so you are in your second term in the House of Representatives. And you're just beginning your second term. And so now, how many legislative sessions have you been through now at this point, Beau?
I don't have enough fingers to count, Mark.
Yeah, I got you.
It's been a lot. We've had 3 just in the last 6 months. So we're probably talking 12-ish, if I had to guess.
Yeah, there you go.
In the last 4 or 5 years, maybe 15. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Okay, speaking of a lot, as we were coming into the session, the news outlets were told that there were roughly 1,000, I don't have the precise number, 1,000 or over 1,000 bills that were pre-filed. That's mind-boggling. Before we talk about the specifics of this session that just ended, talk about pre-filing of bills, and when you have 1,000 bills, how many of those are going to actually make it to a committee hearing and, as they say, see the light of day. So just talk about how you take 1,000 bills and winnow that down to a manageable amount.
Yeah, so 1,000 bills is actually not unheard of. I mean, they've had sessions where they've had much more, I don't remember the total count, but it was a lot. I chair the House and Governmental Affairs Committee, and in our committee we had 150 bills come through the committee. But everyone during a normal session like we had this year, you can pre-file as many bills as you want. Once the pre-filing deadline hits at the beginning of session, you can only file 5 more. So before the session starts, though, you can file 100 bills if you'd like. And I probably filed 10 or 12 of them if I had to guess, and then added some resolutions along the way. But during a fiscal session, which will be next year, we can file as many fiscal bills or money bills as we want. We're only allowed 5 non-fiscal bills. So next year, the bills will be limited in the amount that we can file just because of the nature of the fiscal session.
Sure. And I think the way to keep track of that or keep it firmly in your mind is that in odd number years, those are fiscal years. In other words, the legislature addresses those fiscal bills that you just talked about. Is that correct, Bo?
That's correct. And the reason behind that is, to have different money bills, tax bills, in front of us every year, you want to have somewhat of stability in the government. So we don't want to be changing our tax policy every year. So they stagger it every other year to give a little bit of, not so much fluctuations in our tax policy, I guess is the easiest way to say it.
Okay. So suffice it to say, I thought 1,000 bills was a lot. You said the legislature has seen more bills than that. So with this past session, some of the issues that come to mind are the education savings account. So why don't we take them one by one? Tell us what happened. There was Julie Emerson had a bill, and then the Senate kind of revised it. And tell us what is the ultimate, what did you guys end up with in the legislature, the House of Representatives working with the Senate? What do we have right now?
Yeah, so there were 2 primary education savings account bills. Representative Julie Emerson from here in Acadiana, and then we had Representative Rick Edmonds from Senator Rick Edmonds from the Baton Rouge area. So there was a Senate version and a House version. Julie's bill ended up stalling in the Senate, and we ended up passing Senator Edmonds' bill, the L.A. Gator bill. And essentially what we're doing is we are moving to a system that allows parents to be able to choose where to use public dollars to allow parents to be able to send their kids to private schools if they wish. And so there's going to be a dollar amount allocated for those students. And there's the big difference between the 2 bills, the way that it originally started, was we were going to, in year 1, we were going to have a certain amount of children eligible, a certain amount of people that could come into the program, and then year 2 and year 3, we would expand it and so forth. I think by the 4th year, it'd be fully open to all students would be able to receive these educational savings account dollars. And the way it was amended, that we now have a phased-in approach. There was some concern, and it was a rightful concern. It was a concern of all of ours, including mine, on how we were going to pay for it. And I think everyone had question marks on that. And so each of the phases is really built around being able to afford to have these education savings accounts in place and allowing us to phase it in as money becomes available. So essentially what's going to start this, so it's not going to be for this upcoming school year. It's going to be for the following, if my memory serves me correct. Mm-hmm. And essentially you're going to have the students students that are now in the voucher system that we currently have. So currently we have a savings account type of program out there for students who are in failing schools and who have some disabilities, where they can use vouchers to go to private schools. So we're going to use the funding from that voucher program and put it into this ESA system, get the program off the ground, and then in future years, as dollars become available, be able to expand it to other students.
Mm-hmm. Okay, outstanding. Yeah, I know it was some back and forth between the Senate and the House, and I think they call that, you reconcile the bills, or you basically, in plain language, you work out the differences in the House version versus the Senate version. So a good description of where we ultimately landed with that, Bo.
Yeah, and that's it. And some people get frustrated by that, but that is common. You often see similar bills on the House and Senate side with, they might have a little bit different nuances in each one of them, but at some point everybody's got to come together and decide which version they want. And a lot of times both the bills end up looking similar to each other.
Yeah.
And so I think we ended up successful in that effort.
Sure. Also, a bill that passed was 10 Commandments in public schools. Look, I'm all for that. If you look at them, you can be an atheist and still look at the 10 Commandments as kind of best practices, rules of life, that type of thing. But I do believe there are going to be some legal challenges. What's your take on that particular bill?
Yeah, no, I definitely supported the bill. I think it's a great thing, and I think it's. Even though it's based on certain religious beliefs, I think you can also say that it's moral beliefs more so than religious, and it has a religious kind of tone to it. But I think it's something that we all should be following, and all of us should use to govern our lives, and we should all focus on following them in better, Mark.
Mm-hmm. Sure, no.
So, from a legality standpoint, I understand. I mean. If you want to start putting other religious items in classrooms, I think there's going to be that question mark. But look, this is what the legislator asked for. This is what we passed, and so this is our intent. And we hope that more people become familiar with them and live their life being governed by them.
Yes. Agreed, Representative Bollier. Okay, so law enforcement, thank goodness we have common sense here in Louisiana, and thank goodness the legislature passes many common sense measures. I know there were some laws passed to make penalties harsher for committing certain crimes, and we don't need to go into the particulars of that unless you had something you wanted to mention. But my question has to do with a state police troop specifically for the New Orleans area. I know that was a wish of Governor Landry. Were any laws passed pertaining to that state police troop for the Orleans Parish area?
Yeah, so we've established Troop NOLA, which is going to be the troop that now governs Orleans Parish, which is going to give law enforcement in Orleans a big assistance. And we have dollars allocated towards Troop NOLA. And so it was done after Hurricane Katrina, if I'm not mistaken. And so, look, Orleans area is the lifeblood of the state. We get so much revenue. We have much revenue and expenses that come out of Orleans. We have to support it. And I think the governor assigning Troop NOLA or establishing Troop NOLA and getting its presence is important, and I'm already hearing positive things about the security in the Orleans area. We have a Super Bowl coming up this year that we're going to be hosting, so we really need to do our best to get crime under control and for us all to feel safe. My wife and I used to spend many weekends a year in New Orleans. We stopped doing it, probably a half dozen years ago because we just didn't feel safe anymore. Now we'll go into New Orleans, go to a meeting, go to some kind of event, and we come straight home and don't spend a long weekend there. So we need everyone to feel comfortable when they go to New Orleans, and we were successful at establishing that Troop NOLA.
Yes. Okay, about a minute. I very, very well said, and I agree with everything you said. And, crime has been increasing in New Orleans. It's our biggest tourist attraction. It is kind of the face of Louisiana, although there are many, many other outstanding things to see in Louisiana. So maybe we have some listeners, visitors in, Acadiana. They're in the Acadiana area because they're hearing our voice, Bo. So thanks for coming down here. But Acadiana, I'm talking about our visitors, if any are hearing us right now. One final thing, about a minute left, so keep that in mind, please, sir. The bill that said teachers do not discuss gender issues in the classroom. And I think that's wise. We need to keep it to we have to still have the basic study of biology. So I think that was a very wise law that was passed. Address that very quickly. We have less than a minute, Bo.
Yeah. So essentially, you're going to have parents' permission, like if students want to be addressed by another gender. We're not going to just make up which gender we are each day and change it. We're going to have some consistency, and we all believe that the gender is your birth gender, which you were born with. Science hasn't changed that much in history to where we don't have the same gender we were born with, and so we're going to stick with that. And otherwise, we need to have parental permission.
Thank goodness for common sense. Thanks for the job you're doing, Bo, and thanks to all your colleagues in the legislature. I say fairly successful legislative session. You never get everything you want, but good job to you and your colleagues. And thanks for your time today, Bo.
Thanks, Mark. Anytime.
Yes, sir. State Representative Bo Bollier from South Lafayette and Iberia Parish area. Take this time out. We'll be back after the news.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below, you take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
The entire world watched.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And humanity saw that the sky was not the limit. Achievement. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the Cape Hill News app. Now the headlines from the Cape Hill News Center.
Happy Thursday from the Cape Hill News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham. Well, more of the same as far as rain coming through the area, but not going to be as severe as we've seen the last several days. Now, Wednesday seemed to ease a little bit off of what we had seen from earlier in the week, and Thursday, some more scattered showers, but even easing off of what we saw on Wednesday. Still going to have temperatures that are getting quite warm and chances of scattered showers like we see normally throughout this time of the year. But by the time we get to Friday, we're going to have the heat index pushing into the triple digits. A heat advisory may be on the way, maybe a couple of showers, but not near what we saw earlier this week. He was a titan of health services here in Louisiana, and he's now dead at 76. Richard Zuschlag, who built Acadian Ambulance into the powerhouse it was, passed away. He moved to Lafayette in 1970 from Pennsylvania and started a company with 2 ambulances that eventually grew into the country's largest privately held medical transportation company. He died early on Wednesday morning from complications following cancer treatment. That company, Acadian Ambulance, remains based in Lafayette, has 5,200 employees, and operates in 4 states and 37 parishes in Louisiana. The employees own about 80% of the company, according to the Acadiana Advocate, under an employee stock ownership plan, or ESOP. And in a story that went viral earlier this week, 2 Opelousas residents have now been arrested after the video circulated showing that they were throwing puppies into the dumpster of a local business. Jasmine Mouton and Kendall Tyler, both 22, were arrested on Tuesday, according to lead investigator Spencer Cornett. They face counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. The video went viral online, and police asked for assistance in identifying the pair. A neighbor informed the owner of Sebastian's West End Seafood that the two dogs were left inside the business's dumpster. When the video footage was released, it sparked outrage online. It was their personal dogs, said the investigator, Cornett. The dogs had chewed some wire inside their home and tore the house up, and they took their frustration out on the dogs. And yes, the baseball season may be over for the LSU Tigers, but that does mean transfer portal drama. Right-handed pitcher for the Tigers, Aiden Moffett, revealed on Wednesday via social media he's going to be entering the transfer portal after playing 2 seasons with the Tigers. Now, he did say Forever LSU in the tweet that he posted. He pitched in only 1 game during the 2023 season, but saw significant time out of the LSU bullpen in 2024. He went 0-1 with a 5.6 ERA in 16 appearances, striking out 21 and walking 12 in 17 2/3 innings. That is a look at your morning news from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham.
We've got a much drier forecast out there today with a few isolated showers still possible, but a little more typical for this time of year. They're going to be driven by heat and humidity. Highs today up at about 92 degrees with winds coming in from the north at about 5 miles an hour. Overnight lows sit in the mid to upper 70s, and tomorrow we got a hot one, 95 degrees out there for the high. Heat index is going to push up probably about 104, 105 through the day. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Currently 72 degrees. We actually dropped a degree from last hour.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Okay, we do still have I-10, slowdown on I-10 on the board. That appears to be mile marker 103. That is I-10 westbound within the Lafayette corporate limits. So definitely avoid that area if you possibly can. I was told that there is a backup for miles to the I-49 exchange. The issue last hour with I-49 has been cleared from the roads. That's good news. And we have a stalled vehicle, 2300 block of Ambassador Caffrey. Not sure of that exact location, but if on Ambassador, just keep that area in mind. Stalled vehicle, 2300 block of Ambassador. Good morning. Welcome into Acadiana's Morning News. Mark Pope in. Tracy Wirtz will be back with us tomorrow. She's taking care of a little bit of business today. And it is time for Lafayette Live. That's where we bring a representative from Lafayette Consolidated Government in. And sometimes it is Mayor Monique Boulay, but not today. We have Christina Dayries. And tell us your title again, Christina.
I am the Chief of Staff for the Mayor President's Office.
Chief of Staff. See, I wanted to say emergency response. That's one of your duties, correct?
That's pretty much all I've been doing the last few weeks with these storms. It looks like it hasn't stopped. So I think I get a little break today.
Right. But obviously your duties are more than emergency response. And we have quite a few issues on our agenda to talk about this morning with Christina. And I believe you wanted to start with kind of a tribute to Richard Zuschlag, who is a prominent citizen here in Acadiana and specifically in Lafayette. So why don't you take the time and tell us about Mr. Zuschlag?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. And on behalf of the Mayor President Boulay, Mr. Zuschlag was very close to her and her family. We just want to make sure we extend our deepest sympathies to his family, his employees of the Acadian companies. His passing is such an enormous loss to the community. I know many of us in the Acadiana area will continue to pray for him and his family, his friends, and all of those lives that will be forever changed by his loss. My personal experience with him was when I first set up the ambulance permitting in Calcasieu Parish, Louisiana. He was a remarkable individual, came and met with us and just started the ambulance company out there doing that. And I got to know him very well. His contributions and partnership were just invaluable to the emergency response world. And we just wanted to keep him in our prayers and his family during this time.
Right. Yes. He was definitely an innovative entrepreneur. I mean, Acadian Ambulance got its start in 1971 with like 2 ambulances and then just a handful of people, and Richard Zuschlag was one of those persons. And so, yeah, it's just incredible. And in 1971, you said, well, they were like the first, I don't know how to say it quite, Christina. I don't want first ambulance company that was dedicated to that. If I'm
exactly.
correct.
Yeah, I mean, he laid the groundwork, the foundation for ambulance response. I think it was handled prior to him creating that was with the coroners, if you remember.
Yes.
So
Yes.
His innovation is just, unmatched around here. So.
Right. And then they spread, the company grew in Lafayette, then they went through Acadiana. Now they're in, I'm gonna botch this, but Louisiana, Texas, Tennessee, they're in like 4 states. Yeah. And they've really, really, really grown. And Richard Zuschlag was on the ground level kicking all that off. So one of the great companies in the United States. And once again, Mr. Zuschlag is behind that effort. So condolences to his family and friends. And we lost a great individual.
Absolutely, Mark.
Yes. Okay, well, thanks so much for that tribute, Christina. So an issue that happened or an event that happened last night, your Lafayette City Police have the Citizen Police Academy underway, and last night things kicked off. Tell us about that.
Yeah, last night I attended actually the first night of the Lafayette Police Department Citizen Academy. The program's designed to offer our residents insight into how the police officers perform their duties, as well as how the department serves the community. Our mayor president had encouraged some of our executive team to sign up, get a firsthand perspective on law enforcement in our city. So I was like, hey, why not? I'm a grandma now, empty nester. So I said, let me go to these classes, see what I can learn. So last night we started. It'll be 10 weeks, every Wednesday night from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to learn about virtually every aspect of an officer's job, including recruiting, administration, the patrol operations, traffic enforcement, SWAT, communications, hostage negotiations, crime scene investigations, and many other areas. We still actually have 5 spots left in the class. You must be 18 years old or older to attend, and you'll have to pass an initial background check, which takes about a day or 2 to get that done. But if anyone is interested, Mark, they can contact Lafayette Police Department and speak with Robin Green. She's the point of contact. She's their communications officer. And they can call 291-8600 and get in touch with Robin and sign up for the class. But we're going to be doing all kind of things. You get to do ride-alongs with the police department. Mm-hmm. We'll go out to the gun range. We'll get to go out to the horse farm and meet their mounted patrols. So last night was neat. We got to learn a lot and see firsthand a lot of the technology that the police department is starting to use to do their job a lot more efficiently and effectively. And it was just pretty remarkable watching, what happens behind the scenes.
Sure. I'm just wondering about the demographics of that particular class. I would guess that it's probably, older individuals, 45 and older. That's my guess. I'm sure there's some young folks in there in their 20s and 30s, but were you guys able to discern the kind of a demographic outline of people attending?
I'm gonna tell you,
class?
it was all over the place. We had young 25-year-olds, older. I'm 54, so we had some probably in their early 60s, male, female, mixed racial mix up. I mean, it was all over. So it was really nice to see. Different types of the community were there. We had a judge attended, myself with Lafayette Consolidated Government, another one of our advisors in Lafayette Consolidated Government, and just regular citizens in the community, just wanting to come learn.
Sure. I'm wondering what the benefit of the class and the intention behind it. But let me ask, the people who complete the course, they're not deputized or anything like that, are they?
No. I don't think I'll be able to be a policeman, but it makes you exciting and want to. So
right.
My husband's like, don't think you can start arresting me now. But it's really just to get a good perspective on what Lafayette Police Department has to entail, how they do their job, just a really good understanding. You share your perspective with the rest of your community. You'll probably have some community advocates take these classes. It just gives them a a good insight into what to expect and what they see every day, and
Sure.
have a better appreciation for our law enforcement.
Sure. I would think somebody majoring in criminal justice at UL, that would definitely be a good idea to sign up for that course.
100%. You're right on target, Mark, about that.
Well, I encourage it. I think it's a great idea, and it just makes our community more informed and feel like a member of the community, and probably makes for a safer community. The more people we have educated about law enforcement, I think the safer our community is. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, good job on that one. Okay, well, let us take a timeout. We'll come back with more with Christina DeRees, and Chief of Staff for Lafayette Consolidated Government here on Lafayette Live. If you have a question, you can give us a call at 232-1542 or use the KPEL app chat. We'll take this time out and be back shortly.
Fox on Tech.
Former President Donald Trump takes his campaign to TikTok. He announced his arrival on the app with a video of him at a UFC fight, introduced by CEO and President of the UFC, Dana White.
The president is now on TikTok. It's my honor.
The video then goes on to show a compilation of shots of the former president waving and mingling with the crowd.
Well done, right?
The businessman's account gained more than 1 million followers by Sunday, and by Monday morning, he was already up to 3.6 million globally, just days after becoming the first former president to be found guilty of felony charges. Former President Trump joins his political opponent, President Joe Biden, on TikTok, who signed a bill in April that could potentially ban the app in a year.
If Trump's stock in the Truth Social, his company, drops any lower, he might do better under my tax plan than his.
Social media site has more than 1 billion active users, with more than 150 of those in the United States. With Fox on Tech, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see? Every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments. It doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Marcel Spears. Keeping our global neighborhood safe is a tough job, made easier by America's brave military dogs. These dogs keep our troops safe by sniffing out bombs and IEDs and locating enemy positions. Yet when these canine heroes retire, they're too often left overseas. American Humane works to bring these valiant dogs home and reunites them with their handlers for happy, healthy retirements. To learn how you can help, visit AmericanHumane.org.
The loudest voices on the biggest issues impacting your life. Continuing the long tradition of informing you in Acadiana. News Talk 96.5, KPEL. Depend on it.
We've got a much drier forecast out there today with a few isolated showers still possible, but a little more typical for this time of year. They're going to be driven by heat and humidity. Highs today up at about 92 degrees with winds coming in from the north at about 5 miles an hour. Overnight lows sit in the mid to upper 70s, and tomorrow we got a hot one, 95 degrees out there for the high. Heat index is going to push up probably about 104, 105 through the day. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Thank you, Daniel. Right now we have 72 degrees.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
And just one thing on the board, and that is a wreck at 2300 Ambassador Caffrey, and I'm trying to figure out where. It's actually not a wreck. It is a stalled vehicle that has probably been cleared from the road. Those stalled vehicles don't last very long out there, but keep in mind, 2300 block of Ambassador Caffrey. The vehicle could be a big truck, so it might not be as easy as pushing it off to the side. So keep that in mind. Stalled vehicle, 2300 Ambassador Caffrey. Just now popping up, we have traffic control at the intersection of Terminal Drive and Blue Drive in Lafayette. Not sure exactly what's located there, but keep that intersection in mind. Traffic control issue, Terminal Drive and Blue Drive. Buckle it up and keep it safe.
Here I go again on my own. Going down
Welcome back to Acadiana's Morning News. We're visiting right now with Christina Dayries. She is Chief of Staff for Lafayette Consolidated Government, and she wears multiple hats over there at LCG. And so we're just talking about everything that comes under her purview as Chief of Staff. So, Christina, I think next up on our discussion list was talking about debris collection in Lafayette. So let's talk about that, please.
Yeah, it's really just kind of give an update on where we are from the storms that happened a couple of weeks ago. The mayor president had to declare a parish emergency, and we should be added to the governor's declaration probably sometime today. I think he's come back from being away from Baton Rouge. So what her declaration allowed was our public works team to activate one of our large debris contingency contracts. So they have now come on board, and LCG has 3 total contractors. There are 16 trucks that are out there that are trying to go through and hit each neighborhood by neighborhood and try to get this picked up as fast as possible. I know there's a lot of citizens that are concerned, say, hey, I've been kind of sitting here waiting. But we have activated that larger contractor. They just started earlier this week. And so what Public Works is expecting is to have at least the first pass of the debris done by the end of next week. So every neighborhood, every road should be picked up by the end of next week. If that does not happen, we encourage them continue to call 311 or our 291-8517 number, and we'll make sure we get out there. But that first pass should pick up the majority that has kind of been sitting there for a couple of weeks.
Okay, very good. And when you're talking about picking up debris, and of course you're here representing Lafayette Consolidated Government, and we need to talk a minute about, quote, jurisdiction, because the people that are served by Lafayette Consolidated Government are people in the city of Lafayette and unincorporated parts of Lafayette Parish. And even though there is a parish government and serves the entire parish, but when you start talking about debris collection, whether it's daily garbage or whether it's storm debris, that is kind of ruled by the contract that each municipality has with a waste hauler. And for example, Scott, Dussault, Karen Crow, Youngsville, they all have individual garbage contracts. That's why you can't do a parish-wide, the entirety or totality of Lafayette Parish when you're doing a storm cleanup, because it's kind of governed or regulated by an individual garbage contract within a municipality.
Yeah, that's correct. And they'll have their own unique emergency contracts on standby, just like LCG's does. So we'll take care of the city of Lafayette and all the unincorporated areas is what we're handling.
Sure, yeah. And because, look, everybody within any government, whether it's Lafayette Consolidated Government, whether it's City of Scott, Karen Crow, Dussault, Youngsville, they want to see the people in administration within those specific governments, they want to see debris picked up and cleared off the road just as soon as possible, because it's safety issues, and nobody wants to see debris sitting out in front of their house for weeks on end. The grass is going to die, but guess what? We're in South Louisiana. The grass is not going to stay yellow or brown for very long. It's going to definitely come back.
Yeah, so. Mark, and it's hurricane season, right?
Yeah.
What have we seen over the last few weeks? There has been a storm every week, multiple storms even in 1 week. So we need to get that debris picked up as fast as possible before another severe weather comes, because those just become, flying objects where they're just not safe for the community.
Yes. So once again, to kind of summarize, 16 trucks out there picking up debris, and I know you guys had outlined kind of a phase 1, phase 2. Where do we stand in that timeline of various phases of cleanup, Christina?
Well, what we have now is all zones within the parish, unincorporated area in the city are being picked up and being handled at one time now. So everybody should see in their areas some kind of trucks, debris pickup trucks happening on their streets. And like I said, by the end of next Friday, if they have not been picked up, please call 311 and let us know, and we'll make sure, why you were missed, what has happened, was the debris not the type of debris that's eligible? I don't know if you want to mention that as well. We're looking at true storm debris, tree limbs and bridges, fencing, roofing material that has flown off, stuff that is impacted from that storm. So.
Sure. No, it makes total sense. And, as I've said, when we've talked about this here lately, this is not an opportunity to clean your garage and, bring those boxes of miscellaneous items out to the street. That's not what this is for. It's for storm-related debris. So I'm sure you're asking your residents to just keep that in mind. And as you guys try to get those final bits of yard debris and storm-related debris off the road. Because, like you said, if we have another storm come through, that stuff out on the road, it becomes a projectile.
It does, absolutely.
Yep. So I know you guys want to get it cleaned up as soon as possible. If you've had some debris out that's kind of lingering, I believe from last week, Christina, the thing to do is either call 311 or a Lafayette Consolidated Government number, 291-8517.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay, we'll take time out and then come back. We still have a couple of items to talk with Christina about, so stay with us here on Acadiana's Morning News. We'll be right back.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Happy Thursday from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham. Well, more of the same as far as rain coming through the area, but not going to be as severe as we've seen the last several days. Now, Wednesday seemed to ease a little bit off of what we had seen from earlier in the week, and Thursday, some more scattered showers, but even easing off of what we saw on Wednesday. Still going to have temperatures that are getting quite warm and chances of scattered showers like we see normally throughout this time of the year. But by the time we get to Friday, we're going to have the heat index pushing into the triple digits. A heat advisory may be on the way. Maybe a couple of showers, but not near what we saw earlier this week. He was a titan of health services here in Louisiana, and he's now dead at 76. Richard Zuschlag, who built Acadian Ambulance into the powerhouse it was, passed away. He moved to Lafayette in 1970 from Pennsylvania and started a company with 2 ambulances that eventually grew into the country's largest privately held medical transportation company. He died early on Wednesday morning from complications following cancer treatment. That company, Acadian Ambulance, remains based in Lafayette, has 5,200 employees, and operates in 4 states and 37 parishes in Louisiana. The employees own about 80% of the company, according to the Acadiana Advocate, under an employee stock ownership plan, or ESOP. And in a story that went viral earlier this week, 2 Opelousas residents have now been arrested after the video circulated showing that they were throwing puppies into the dumpster of a local business. Jasmine Mouton and Kendall Tyler, both 22, were arrested on Tuesday, according to lead investigator Spencer Cornett. They face counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. The video went viral online, and police asked for assistance in identifying the pair. A neighbor informed the owner of Sebastian's West End Seafood that the 2 dogs were left inside the business's dumpster. When the video footage was released, it sparked outrage online. It was their personal dogs, said the investigator, Cornett. The dogs had chewed some wire inside their home and tore the house up, and they took their frustration out on the dogs. And yes, the baseball season may be over for the LSU Tigers, but that does mean transfer portal drama. Right-handed pitcher for the Tigers, Aiden Moffett, revealed on Wednesday via social media he's going to be entering the transfer portal after playing 2 seasons with the Tigers. Now, he did say Forever LSU in the tweet that he posted. He pitched in only 1 game during the 2023 season, but saw significant time out of the LSU bullpen in 2024. He went 0-1 with a 5.6 ERA in 16 appearances, striking out 21 and walking 12 in 17 2/3 innings. That is a look at your morning news from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham.
All right, look at your weather. It tells us we're going to have a partly cloudy day. Yes, it will be hot, 92 for your afternoon high. Just a 20% chance of rain for your Thursday. That's down quite a bit from yesterday. Tonight, look for partly cloudy conditions. No mention of rain. 75 for your overnight low. And your Friday, partly cloudy. Just a minimal 10% chance of a pop-up afternoon shower. And your high, 95 degrees. Currently, we are at 74 degrees.
News Talk 96.5, KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Still one thing on the board, and that is I-10 westbound, mile marker 103. And that has been downgraded from an accident with injuries to simply a vehicle accident. So possibly those emergency vehicles have arrived out there on I-10 and maybe just cleaning up a bit of a mess on I-10. But keep that in mind if you're out on I-10 westbound. I-10 westbound, mile marker 103. That's within the corporate limits of Lafayette Parish. Buckle it, of the Lafayette City of Lafayette, rather. Buckle it up and keep it safe. All right, welcome back to Lafayette Live here on Acadiana's Morning News. We're with Christina Dayries, and she is the chief of staff. Once again, did I get it right, Christine? I always have to stop and think.
Dayries, so easy.
Dayries, yes. Chief of Staff, Lafayette Consolidated Government. Okay, a lot going on with LCG, as there always is. And you got some breaking news pertaining to reimbursement of storm debris collection, reimbursement from the state of Louisiana. You've informed your bosses, including the mayor. So tell the public about that, because that's good news. It means less cost to Lafayette Consolidated Government.
Yeah, I just got word this morning from the State Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, my former agency that I worked for before coming to LCG, that we have been added to the state declaration. The governor signed the amendment to add Lafayette Parish yesterday. We should be getting a copy of that this morning, so that's hot off the press.
Nice.
So what that does is open the door for LCG and all the other agencies within the parish that had impact and expenses from the recent storms to be able to request reimbursement. And the Governor's Office of Homeland Security, GOSEP is that acronym, will reimburse us 75% of that cost.
Very nice.
So it's very good. This includes all the cities, all of the other agencies that had experienced some type of cost for overtime, debris pickup, those types of expenses will be eligible for the reimbursement.
Excellent. Excellent news. Okay, speaking of debris, and you and I talked about, do we tell the public about this? And it's a ways down the road, and that sometimes is what happens when you're talking about government projects, but it's not that far down the road, and that is setting up a debris drop-off site, if you will, on property owned by Lafayette Consolidated Government. It's on the property where the compost facility is located, which is at 400 Dugas Road. Dugas is a road off of North University. There's also a Dugas not too far from here, down near Drug Emporium in the city of Lafayette. But this is Dugas Road off of North University, fire training facility, compost facility, and the animal shelter.
Right.
So tell us about that debris drop-off site and when it would be open, that type of thing.
Yeah, the council just approved it Tuesday night, the final funding and phase of it. And what Public Works will be doing is setting up the Environmental Quality Convenience Center. And it is estimated to be open the summer of 25. So this will be residents in the city of Lafayette and unincorporated areas of Lafayette will be able to drop off their debris directly to that EQ Convenience Center.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they're working on, other options to have other people from outside of the jurisdiction of Lafayette Consolidated Government to come in. So, working on those details, but good news, it was approved this past Tuesday, right, Christina?
That's correct, and no cost, right, to the citizens of Lafayette Parish. There would be no cost for them to bring mattresses, those types of things to that facility.
Right. And it's in your garbage contract. So right now, if you have a mattress or a sofa or a chair that you need to get rid of, or a refrigerator, a freezer, those things are collected under the current contract. So you don't have to wait till the summer of 2025 to get rid of mattresses, chairs. Those things are covered under the current contract with Acadiana Waste Services, or AWS. So good news, always improving services at Lafayette Consolidated Government. Okay, Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee. That's another project that you guys are working on at LCG. So tell us about that, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. This has been a high priority for the Mayor President, Public Safety, and she has been working very closely with Sheriff Garber. They have reconstituted the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee. We've mentioned that before here. And what has happened is they have now really started getting down into the hard work. We've appointed some subcommittees. It's the jail capacity subcommittee, some funding subcommittees. I think others will soon be created. But we've been meeting aggressively every 2 weeks to try to get things really rolling, get down to the issues what are the bottlenecks in the criminal justice process. So every other week, we've been coming together. We've been trying to identify some short-term and long-term solutions to try to reduce the time it takes for each agency where you're involved in the criminal justice process. How can you reduce some of the length of time it takes you to do your job, right, or do whatever function it is you have? So we've been meeting with the sheriff, the DA, the judges from the 15th JDC and the city court judges, Lafayette Police Department, our Mayor President's Office, public defenders, probation and parole, and then a lot of other stakeholders like Acadiana Human Services, public health, all of those other types of agencies. And we are going to present our initial recommendations to the full CJCC board on June 25th. They meet every other month. I have to tell you, Mark, there has been great cooperation and a lot of communication among the agencies, really just opening up that dialogue. We all know each other. We all know what we do, but sometimes just coming together and talking about the issues, sharing some statistics, and that's what we've kind of been looking at. How long is it taking? How many people are going through the process? And just some delays, extensive delays, which it all boils down to the jail is just at capacity, right? And building a brand new jail, you've heard the mayor talk about it, is not going to solve the capacity issue because the jail is not going to be that much additional space. There's tons, I think over 6,000 warrants, that are outstanding right now. So what we're looking to do is what can we do to just move the offenders through the process more expeditiously? Mm-hmm. So that's what we've been doing. Sure. So we'll come to that committee on the 25th with some of those recommendations. And it's simple things as completing your police reports a little bit quicker, moving those, don't delay in that, getting the billings issued by the district attorney's office a little bit faster, aggressive recruitment of the public defenders, trying to find attorneys to serve in those roles and stay in those roles. That's been kind of one of the biggest issues we found. It's just hard to get them there. Mm-hmm. So they're really going to begin some aggressive recruitment. And then some long-term kind of solutions is LPD is looking to do, and I think you've heard our interim chief, Truord, mention this. He's looking to form a crisis intervention team of all members of the police department. So by this year, I think he'll have 60 officers by the end of the calendar year that are trained in this crisis intervention team. You've heard a CARES unit. We only had 2 officers in LPD that was trained to that. He's looking to do 60 by this year and then the entire force by the end of next calendar year. So he's really looking to do that aggressively. Mm-hmm. Public defender is going to also do some looking at partnering with some law schools to do some summer attorney programs to start training them on how to be public defenders. So that's just a couple of quick topics. There's more that we're putting together now. We had our last meeting yesterday and going to start formalizing that and prepare it for the 25th to present to the committee.
No, that's definitely a lot. What is CARES? Remind me about that. Is that drug related? It's kind of
program? Mental health. If you may have heard this, recently on even national news. Offenders, a lot of them are suffering from mental health issues. That's why they're offending or breaking the law. Doing some type of a criminal act, I guess. So when you have officers respond and that are aware that they may be suffering from those types of mental health issues, they come with specialized training how to deal with them without just taking them and arresting them and bringing them to jail. They try to work through those, provide resources for them, send them to other agencies that may be able to help them with their issues that they're dealing with.
Sure. I got you. No, it is. I was probably thinking of DARE.
Yes.
But everything that you talked about is vitally important. That public defender program. I don't know. You guys don't deal with the funding, but over the years that has been an issue. There has been a lack of funding for those public defender programs. So there are challenges built into the criminal justice system. Glad to see you guys have a coordinating committee that's working toward a solution of all the items discussed above. So, wow, good information today, Christina, and definitely appreciate the update. And we will, we'll do it again. You guys, I know you're just kind of starting your budget process, and we'll be talking about that in the weeks and months to come. So
it's budget all day, every day right now.
I know. Yeah, exactly. All hands on deck. Yeah. It's, look, it's a complicated budget, hundreds of millions of dollars. And when you throw in all the assets of LCG, it's very easy and very accurate to say that Lafayette Consolidated Government is a $1 billion business. Mm-hmm. And so, a lot of thought and processing has to go into a good, well-done budget. So good luck with that budget process. We'll be talking about that in the weeks to come. Absolutely. But thanks again for your time, Christina. Christina DeRees, Chief of Staff at Lafayette Consolidated Government. Thanks, and have a good week.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, indeed. We'll take this short time out. Back with more Acadiana's Morning News coming up shortly.
Why?
Welcome back to Acadiana's Morning News. Mark Pope in. Tracy Wert's out, but Tracy's back tomorrow taking care of some business. So we have a couple of minutes before we go into our top of the hour news break. And we mentioned earlier about D-Day, 80th anniversary of June 6, 1944, invasion of Normandy. 5 beachheads in Normandy, France. Omaha Beach, where the most fierce fighting happened. Omaha Beach, Utah, Gold, Juneau, and Sword beaches. All those beaches had Allied troops coming in. 5,000 planes in the mission. Over 7,000 ships involved in transporting both troops and equipment, supplies, that type of thing. Shortly after midnight on June 6, 1944, 18,000 Allied paratroopers were dropped into the invasion area to provide tactical support for infantry divisions on all the 5 beaches in Normandy. Allied forces flew over 14,000 sorties, plane missions, if you will. The actual invasion was delayed from June 5th to June 6th because of weather and the tides, that affected, and it still affected the landing. Some of the bombings that were necessary to soften up, if you will, the German defenses on Omaha Beach and the other beaches, because, again, there were multiple invasions on all 5 beaches, but the most fierce and the most troops were on Omaha Beach. But so some of that bombing to soften up the German defenses could not happen because of a low cloud cover. So it's very interesting. Even if we have to wrestle it in, we're going to get in about the deception campaign. If you don't recall about that, it's very, very interesting. We tricked the Germans thinking that we, the Allied troops, not just the U.S., but the Allied troops, would attack elsewhere, not on the beaches of Normandy. And it worked. So I'm going to tell that quick story coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. We are coming up on 8 o'clock time for our top of the hour news break. Back with more Acadiana's news following our top of the hour news. Stay with us.
This Fox Business Report is brought to you by Walter Campbell and Deborah Pierce of Keller Williams Realty. For all of your commercial property needs, reach out to Walter and Deborah today.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
NVIDIA shares are up more than 1% this morning after its stock closed at a record yesterday, and it became the second most valuable company behind only Microsoft. Chinese electric vehicle maker NIO lost money in its recent quarter, a larger loss than a year ago. NIO is blaming lower vehicle sales, weaker average selling prices, and seasonal effects, though it is predicting deliveries will more than double in coming months. The Teamsters Union has formally affiliated with the Amazon Labor Union, which represents roughly 8,000 warehouse workers at a facility in Staten Island. There's another sign that Americans are cutting back on buying furniture. Hooker Furnishings lost money in its recent quarter. Higher interest rates have made furniture more expensive. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda, invested in you.
Success. It's discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us that comes before all recognition. It's the best of each of us made better by the best in all of us. It's what Stifel's been doing for over 130 years. And it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management and investment banking firms in the industry. Stifel. It's where success meets success. Start your journey at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Remembering D-Day 80 years later. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Taps just played in Normandy, France, where a key Allied invasion turned World War II.
The men who fought here became heroes. Not because they were the strongest or toughest or fiercest, although they were, but because they were given an audacious mission, knowing, every one of them knew, the probability of dying was real.
President Biden joined there by D-Day survivors who were about 100 years old.
We know the dark forces that these heroes fought against 80 years ago. They never fade.
And he called out Russia, saying the U.S. and NATO will never walk away, helping Ukraine fend off that invasion. Now, Russia's leaders again warned he could use nuclear weapons. And
President Vladimir Putin says Russian weapons could be placed within striking distance of U.S. and European interests if Ukraine keeps using Western arms on targets inside Russia. The Kremlin's not going into detail, though, about which third countries it would use to base its missiles. President Joe Biden has reportedly okayed Ukraine's use of American weapons against Russian territory.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The U.S. and some of our allies are again urging Israel and Hamas to agree to a ceasefire after an Israeli airstrike at a school in Gaza. They say Hamas was using as a military compound. Palestinian officials say the school was run by the UN, housing refugees. At least 33 civilians were killed. This is a first in the outbreak of bird flu.
The World Health Organization says a man in Mexico has died from the H5N2 strain of bird flu, one that had not previously been reported in humans. It's different from the H5N1 strain of the virus that caused an outbreak among U.S. livestock and infected 3 workers at a dairy farm.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. It's not known how the man got that flu. America's listening to Fox News.
You know, our friends at Henry Repeating Arms, they manufacture a line of very high quality rifles, shotguns, and revolvers that you can be very proud to own. Now, they're made in America with parts and materials also from America. Now, they use old world craftsmanship combined with cutting edge technology to deliver reliable and accuracy that you can trust in any situation. Now, they're easy to use and maintain. It makes them an excellent choice for both a novice and experienced shooter. Henry has over 200 models, so you can find the firearm that's right for you. There's also new releases all throughout the year. And every purchase is backed by their lifetime warranty and the company's owner. Anthony Imperato also gives his personal guarantee for 100% satisfaction. Now, make sure you go to their website, henryusa.com. Order their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog, free decals, and a list of dealers where you are. You're going to love this company and these firearms like I do.
The Hunter Biden trial will resume soon in Delaware, and the prosecution could rest its case today against the president's son, who's charged with felony gun crimes for illegally obtaining a firearm while a drug addict. Days after he was convicted in New York, former President Trump, who will be sentenced in July, again tells Fox's Hannity that That and his other legal cases are political witch hunts.
What they're doing to me, if it's going to continue, we're really not going to have much of a country left.
That New York case may be the only one before the election. There's been a setback in the Georgia prosecution as a state appeals court sets an October 4th date to consider an attempt by the former president and co-defendants to remove DA Fonnie Willis.
They would stand accused of trying to overturn the 2020 election result in Georgia. As the case progressed, a relationship between Willis and special prosecutor Nathan Wade surfaced, which became the basis of attempts to remove Willis from the case. Judge Scott McAfee found no conflict, but let the defense appeal continue. If the case stays on schedule, a ruling won't come until March 2025, and even then be subject to an appeal to the Georgia Supreme Court. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Something news coming to YouTube. Restrictions on gun videos.
Beginning later this month, Google-owned YouTube will ban videos demonstrating how to remove safety devices from firearms and require a minimum age of 18 for several other kinds, including videos showing automatic weapons, homemade guns, and certain accessories. Last year, researchers at the group Tech Transparency Project created accounts mimicking the behavior of 9-year-old boys who like video games and found that YouTube's recommendation system forwarded graphic videos of school shootings, gun training videos, and instructions on making firearms fully automatic to those accounts. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
A rise in unemployment last week. First-time claims up 8,000 to 229,000 on Wall Street. Stock futures mixed before the opening bell. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Happy Thursday from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham. Well, more of the same as far as rain coming through the area, but not going to be as severe as we've seen the last several days. Now, Wednesday seemed to ease a little bit off of what we had seen from earlier in the week, and Thursday, some more scattered showers, but even easing off of what we saw on Wednesday. Still going to have temperatures that are getting quite warm and chances of scattered showers like we see normally throughout this time of the year. But by the time we get to Friday, we're going to have the heat index pushing into the triple digits. A heat advisory may be on the way, maybe a couple of showers, but not near what we saw earlier this week. He was a titan of health services here in Louisiana, and he's now dead at 76. Richard Zuschlag, who built Acadian Ambulance into the powerhouse it was, passed away. He moved to Lafayette in 1970 from Pennsylvania and started a company with 2 ambulances that eventually grew into the country's largest privately held medical transportation company. He died early on Wednesday morning from complications following cancer treatment. That company, Acadian Ambulance, remains based in Lafayette, has 5,200 employees, and operates in 4 states and 37 parishes in Louisiana. The employees own about 80% of the company, according to the Acadiana Advocate, under an employee stock ownership plan, or ESOP. And in a story that went viral earlier this week, 2 Opelousas residents have now been arrested after the video circulated showing that they were throwing puppies into the dumpster of a local business. Jasmine Mouton and Kendall Tyler, both 22, were arrested on Tuesday, according to lead investigator Spencer Cornett. They face counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. The video went viral online, and police asked for assistance in identifying the pair. A neighbor informed the owner of Sebastian's West End Seafood that the 2 dogs were left inside the business's dumpster. When the video footage was released, it sparked outrage online. It was their personal dogs, said the investigator, Cornett. The dogs had chewed some wire inside their home and tore the house up, and they took their frustration out on the dogs. And yes, the baseball season may be over for the LSU Tigers, but that does mean transfer portal drama. Right-handed pitcher for the Tigers, Aiden Moffett, revealed on Wednesday via social media he's going to be entering the transfer portal after playing 2 seasons with the Tigers. Now, he did say Forever LSU in the tweet that he posted. He pitched in only 1 game during the 2023 season, but saw significant time out of the LSU bullpen in 2024. He went 0-1 with a 5.6 ERA in 16 appearances, striking out 21 and walking 12 in 17 2/3 innings. That is a look at your morning news from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham.
We've got a much drier forecast out there today with a few isolated showers still possible, but a little more typical for this time of year. They're going to be driven by heat and humidity. Highs today up at about 92 degrees with winds coming in from the north at about 5 miles an hour. Overnight lows sit in the mid to upper 70s, and tomorrow we got a hot one, 95 degrees out there for the high. Heat index is going to push up probably about 104, 105 through the day. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
All right, thank you, Daniel. Currently 75 degrees.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Some softer issues on the traffic board. We have a fire inspection in Karen Crow, 240 Arsenault Road. That's at its intersection with Walter Drive in Karen Crow. Emergency vehicles on the way, so just keep that in mind. And really, that's it. Everything else has been cleared off of the board. Buckle it up and keep it safe. Welcome back into Acadiana's Morning News. Right now, 12 minutes after 8 o'clock, and in the 8 o'clock hour on Thursdays, we have our law enforcement segments, and we have the privilege of having the folks in from the Vermilion Parish Sheriff's Office. Sheriff-elect, and it won't be much longer that we'll be able to say Sheriff Eddie Longlinay. So, Eddie is in with us this morning, and also Detective Lon Hargrave with the Vermilion Parish Sheriff's Office. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you guys for coming in.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mark.
Yes, sir. All right. Always a lot happening in Vermilion Parish with any law enforcement agency, but you guys have a couple of solving of a couple of crimes in Vermilion Parish. I don't know who's going to address. Why don't we take them one at a time, obviously. There was a body in a canal here fairly recently, and you guys were investigating, and that crime has been solved.
Yeah, Mark, correct. So all I can say is I'm so proud of the Vermilion Parish Sheriff's Office and the detective work that we were able to do on that. Special thanks goes to Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office, their real-time crime center, their SWAT team. We were able to identify that victim as Mr. Hector Vargas from Lafayette, and 2 people were arrested in conjunction with that. There is no second to good teamwork and good detective work, and I can't thank enough for the people that I work with, both in the department and in neighboring agencies, because they are priceless.
Mm-hmm. And so you've solved the crime, and there is a crime involved. Is that correct, Lon?
Yes, sir. There were 2 arrests made for homicide and obstruction of justice. Okay. I don't have the degree on hand for the homicide.
No, and that's fine.
They are in custody.
Sure.
And good things.
Yeah. Suspects. And, yes. We always have to say that because, innocent until proven guilty. But
yes, sir.
But as of now, you have the suspects in custody, and that's always good news, because nobody likes crime, and it does no good for any parish in Louisiana. So that's good. Also, there were some ATM thefts. I know Tracy Wirtz. There was kind of a spree going on throughout Acadiana with the ATM thefts, and I think last time Tracy asked, there were actually none. And then suddenly, lo and behold, a couple of ATM thefts pop up, and you guys have since solved those issues as well?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of caveat and just repeat myself. Sheriff-elect Longlinay, I'll kind of jump on his bandwagon. We plan on doing a similar thing like a crime center. Again, that case, special thanks to Sheriff Mark Garber, Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office, their real-time crime center. The quick response investigative tactics that we can do where we can work with these agencies helps. 2 arrests were made. A 3rd person is wanted. Please look at the Vermilion Parish Crime Stoppers of Vermilion Facebook page. We do have the 3rd individual's information out there. If anybody can help us locate him, please 740-TIPS or contact the Vermilion Parish Sheriff's Office. We would most definitely appreciate it. And of course, your information can lead to a reward.
Sure. There you go. There you have it. Okay, the good news all around. And Eddie Longlinay becomes officially the Vermilion Parish Sheriff on July 1st. Now, remind us, Eddie, what month, I believe it was this year, what month were you elected as Sheriff of Vermilion?
Actually, it was last year. It was
November.
It was November of last year. And
Okay.
it's a process. It's a long process, and and it's not just Vermilion Sheriff. It's all sheriffs in Louisiana. After the election, they take office the following July 1st.
Uh-huh.
So, and it's a long time, but that's the fiscal year of all sheriff's offices, and it's also the end of tax season. I think if they would come in January with tax season, the sheriff is the tax collector. It would be very hectic at that particular time for a new sheriff to come in and take office.
Oh, sure. And really it kind of allows for some hands-on, or if you will, on-the-job training, which I know you've been in the department for a number of years. How many years have you been in the Vermilion Parish Sheriff's Office, Eddie?
Well, I had 8 years of service with the Sheriff's Office, and then I went to the United States Marshals. I retired with the United States Marshals after almost 25 years. And then I went back to work with the Sheriff's Office part-time and then full-time after my campaign was completed. After I won, I went full-time. And I'm currently working there now with Sheriff Couvillon, and Sheriff Couvillon has made it very easy for the transition. I know some newly elected sheriffs are having a hard time, and technically the incumbent, the sheriff that's in there now, can actually tell the incoming sheriff that you're not allowed into my office until it's your office, which would be July 1st. And I can see where that would be an issue. And I have a couple of friends of mine, about 4 other sheriffs that are running across that same issue. The sheriff, the current sheriff, has to relinquish the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, has to give the incoming sheriff the keys and everything that goes with the sheriff's office. But he don't have to do it until the end of his term, which is the midnight, June 30th.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm glad, a good explanation, because a lot of people wonder why, if you were elected in November 2023, why are you just assuming office January 1st of 2024, and you just gave that July 1st of 2024, and you gave that explanation. I find that mind-boggling that some incumbent sheriffs would not cooperate with the newly elected sheriff, but it is what it is. We're glad to hear that Sheriff Couvillon is working with you to make that transition as smooth as possible. And I knew you had some other experiences besides just the Vermilion Parish Sheriff's Office, but when you take in all of your experience, it's all relevant to law enforcement and probably, gives you an edge over, some other folks in serving as sheriff. And so yeah. And you're a lifelong resident of Vermilion Parish, to top all that off, right?
That's correct. The only time I left Vermilion Parish was for 3 years when I went to the United States Marshals. I was in New Orleans and then Lake Charles, and then came back, lived in Vermilion Parish. I worked out of Lafayette, but lived in Vermilion Parish. And I want to allude to something that Lon said earlier about working together. One of my main things I did with the United States Marshals is brought teams closer, other agencies closer, federal, state, local. And this is something that I love to see with other law enforcement agencies, and with Lon working with Lafayette Sheriff's Office. And I know that we also have a relationship with our federal partners also, and the state partners. So all of those working hand in hand, it makes things work more efficiently. And we're all on the same page, all trying to do the same thing, put bad guys in jail and make our communities safe. So working together, I think it really helps to accomplish those goals.
Sure, yes. And one other thing that I kind of want to go back and reinforce, because, sometimes people are busy as they're listening to Acadiana's Morning News, in that you talked about the reason for that 7-month time between when you're elected and when you take office, and you said, has having to do with fiscal year, which the state of Louisiana fiscal year begins July 1, and so Vermilion Parish follows that. and then also tax collection. And some folks might say, well, why the heck does Vermilion Parish choose to have the sheriff's department as the official tax collector? Well, that's statewide. That's in all 64 parishes.
That's
as
correct.
Specified in the Louisiana Constitution.
That is correct, yes.
Yes. So it's nothing exclusive to Vermilion Parish, but rather it's across the state of Louisiana. So I know you're looking forward to it, and I know you've got a good partner and incumbent Sheriff Mike Couvillon. And how many years did Sheriff Couvillon serve, Eddie?
With the sheriff's office,
Yes.
he's going to have 42 years.
What?
Yes, 20 years as sheriff and 22 years as a deputy before that. I say as a deputy, but he worked his way up. He was a major with the sheriff's office before he became sheriff.
Yeah.
He had a long, great career.
Oh, yes. And you're able to kind of borrow a lot of that knowledge and experience, because I know Sheriff Couvillon is a very cooperative individual. So I think you're going to come in with both feet on the ground and ready to run.
Yeah, and look, Sheriff Couvillon, he's a big hunter, and he has a lot of trophies, if you will, in his office, or he had. And it's kind of amazing how big the office got once he started removing all those trophies out of his office.
Yeah.
But a lot of people walk into his office, and it is kind of like a museum. It's a maze because he's been there for so long.
Right.
He's an institution. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So by him taking his stuff out his office, I think it's kind of like when I retired with the U.S. Marshals. It's kind of bittersweet. You know, you're looking forward to the next chapter. But it's a little tough. It's a little tough too, you know. So.
No doubt about that. But as we look forward, we have to take a break here shortly. But final question before the break: you talked about Sheriff Couvillon being a Louisiana outdoorsman. Was that his kind of slogan on the bumper sticker? Kids who hunt and fish don't steal and deal. Did he come up with that?
I don't know if he came up with it. I think he might have fessed up one day and said that he didn't actually come up with it. He saw it somewhere. I think. And if he did come up with it, I apologize, Sheriff Couvillon. But, yes, that is the slogan he had on his bumper sticker.
Well, but bottom line, though, he lived it.
He lived
that's the mantra.
That slogan.
That's a mantra.
Yes, no, and it's so very true. And, you know, Vermilion Parish being the coastal parish that it is, mostly rural, you know, whole lot of activity going on with the outdoors, hunting, fishing, you know, that type of thing. But regardless of whether Sheriff Couvillon came up with those words, it's very true. He put it on bumper stickers, and he, was one of his approaches to trying to lessen crime in Vermilion Parish.
That's correct.
So kudos to Sheriff Couvillon. Thanks for all your service, Sheriff. Okay, we're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with more with Eddie Thibodeau and Lon Hargrave with the Vermilion Parish. Longlanay. What did I say?
Thibodeau.
Eddie
squared.
Oh, Lord, confusing the Eddies. Yes, Eddie Longlanay, Sheriff-elect Eddie Longlanay, and Lon Hargrave, Vermilion Parish Sheriff's Office. Stay with us. More coming up.
Eleanor's diagnosis is acute myeloid leukemia.
This is a St. Jude moment.
Immediately when we got here, you get a nurse that walks around with you like for the first 3 days you're here to kind of give you the lay of the land and where to go. They know you're already drowning from the news that you're getting and why you're here. So they don't want you to have to figure stuff out by yourself. I know like you're here and you're not supposed to be happy or you're not supposed to smile, but it's hard not to when there's this giant community of strangers all working towards one goal. It doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter what they believe. They are all fighting to end childhood cancer, and I think that's something that should be celebrated.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Welcome back to Acadiana's Morning News. We are entertaining the Vermilion Parish Sheriff's Office, Eddie Longlanay, Sheriff-elect Longlanay, and Sergeant Lon Hargrave in with us this morning. Just a few minutes left on this segment, guys. So Lon, you wanted to talk about a burglary at the Vermilion Parish Charter School, which is not fully constructed. So go ahead and tell us about that, please.
So on the 4th, we got called out. It looks like after the rain had passed, the workers went back to work on further construction of the school. And we learned that the construction company Connex boxes were all burglarized, not the school itself, but at the school where it's still being constructed. Several air compressors, generators, several tools that the construction companies were using were taken. So I'll kind of repeat myself as earlier. If there's anybody who could provide us some information, that school is located 343 and 92 in Northern Vermilion Parish. If anybody may have seen somebody there at night over that May 31st to June 1st, June 2nd time frame, please give the Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers of Vermilion a call, 337-740-TIPS. Everybody will remain anonymous. That is protected by law, I promise you, and Sheriff-elect Longland can say that as well. And, of course, any information provided can lead to monetary reward.
Okay. What happens, let me ask you this, when so you've got a thief who steals whatever property from a private individual from this school that's under construction, and the person who purchases this equipment are they liable under the law for having purchased stolen equipment? How does that work? Or do you have to prove that the person that purchased knew that it was stolen?
So everybody rushes for a good deal, right? Facebook Marketplace, you get a good price. You want to buy a tool or anything like that, the price is good, you jump on it. What I'm going to tell people is be very careful. Because if you sit here and you tell me you bought a $500 drill for $100 and didn't ask any questions, you got to remember it's a jury of your peers. If we feel that you may have known that item was stolen and it was too good to be true, it might have been. It would be best to prove that they knew it was stolen, but you got to be very careful. If it was a too good to be true deal and you jumped on it and it was stolen, you could be liable. If the district attorney says it was too good to be true, you should have known it to be more than it was. You got to be careful.
Right. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, as they say. And at the very least, that which you paid money for is going to be confiscated. It's no longer yours. So like you said, be very, very careful.
And those people are victims too. I want to stress that. If somebody does sell you something and it's stolen, you are a victim of theft by fraud. So it's nothing to hide about. It's nothing to be scared of. But just be very careful buying third-party stuff online, especially with Facebook Marketplace and, these sites where you could buy stuff peer-to-peer with no questions asked.
Yep. Good information as always, gentlemen. So that's it. Next time you guys are in, we can officially say Sheriff Eddie Longland, you will take office on July 1st.
That is correct.
And I know that the learning is, you're good at that and you're enjoying it. And good luck as you assume office on July 1st, Sheriff. And Lon, also, thanks for your information today. And we'll do it again next time here on Acadiana's Morning News. Appreciate you guys' time.
All right, thank you. God bless you. Have a great one.
Yes, indeed. Okay, right now, 8:31, we're going to take our bottom of the hour news break. Back with more law enforcement talk here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
KPEL covers Acadiana with Lowry's Printing and Copying.
Join the Hilliard Art Museum on St. Mary Boulevard in Lafayette for their annual summer reception Friday, June 14th, as they celebrate their 2024 exhibitions. Loads of beautiful artwork by local renowned artists. And the beautiful artwork is complemented by hors d'oeuvres, drinks, and music. Get more details at 482-2278. Second Harvest Food Bank hosting its third annual Duck Derby to benefit families facing hunger in Acadiana. The event is Saturday, June 29th at St. Julian Park in Broussard, 1 to 4 p.m. Loads of family fun. And if your Ducky wins, you're helping a great organization and you could win some prizes. Find out about purchasing your ducks. Go to no-hunger.org/ducks. See you in Broussard, June 29th.
This is House Call for Health. A longtime member of Congress confirms she has cancer. Texas Democratic Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who's been in the House since 1995 and serves on 3 important committees, announcing she has pancreatic cancer and is undergoing treatment. Jackson Lee says she may occasionally be absent from Congress, but will continue to serve, and that her doctors have the best plan to combat the cancer. Lee serves on the Judiciary, Homeland Security, and Budget committees. The Mayo Clinic describes this type of cancer as beginning as a growth of cells in the pancreas, which lies behind the lower part of the stomach and makes enzymes that help digest food and hormones that help manage blood sugar. The Mayo Clinic adds it's rarely caught at early stages because it doesn't usually cause symptoms until after it has spread to other organs. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Happy Thursday from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham. Well, more of the same as far as rain coming through the area, but not going to be as severe as we've seen the last several days. Now, Wednesday seemed to ease a little bit off of what we had seen from earlier in the week, and Thursday, some more scattered showers, but even easing off of what we saw on Wednesday. Still going to have temperatures that are getting quite warm and chances of scattered showers like we see normally throughout this time of the year. But by the time we get to Friday, we're going to have the heat index pushing into the triple digits. A heat advisory may be on the way, maybe a couple of showers, but not near what we saw earlier this week. He was a titan of health services here in Louisiana, and he's now dead at 76. Richard Zuschlag, who built Acadian Ambulance into the powerhouse it was, passed away. He moved to Lafayette in 1970 from Pennsylvania and started a company with 2 ambulances that eventually grew into the country's largest privately held medical transportation company. He died early on Wednesday morning from complications following cancer treatment. That company, Acadian Ambulance, remains based in Lafayette, has 5,200 employees, and operates in 4 states and 37 parishes in Louisiana. The employees own about 80% of the company, according to the Acadiana Advocate, under an employee stock ownership plan, or ESOP. And in a story that went viral earlier this week, 2 Opelousas residents have now been arrested after the video circulated showing that they were throwing puppies into the dumpster of a local business. Jasmine Mouton and Kendall Tyler, both 22, were arrested on Tuesday, according to lead investigator Spencer Cornett. They face counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. The video went viral online, and police asked for assistance in identifying the pair. A neighbor informed the owner of Sebastian's West End Seafood that the 2 dogs were left inside the business's dumpster. When the video footage was released, it sparked outrage online. It was their personal dogs, said the investigator, Cornett. The dogs had chewed some wire inside their home and tore the house up, and they took their frustration out on the dogs. And yes, the baseball season may be over for the LSU Tigers, but that does mean transfer portal drama. Right-handed pitcher for the Tigers, Aiden Moffett, revealed on Wednesday via social media he's going to be entering the transfer portal after playing 2 seasons with the Tigers. Now, he did say Forever LSU in the tweet that he posted. He pitched in only 1 game during the 2023 season, but saw significant time out of the LSU bullpen in 2024. He went 0-1 with a 5.6 ERA in 16 appearances, striking out 21 and walking 12 in 17 2/3 innings. That is a look at your morning news from the KPEL News Desk. I'm Joe Cunningham.
We've got a much drier forecast out there today with a few isolated showers still possible, but a little more typical for this time of year. They're going to be driven by heat and humidity. Highs today up at about 92 degrees with winds coming in from the north at about 5 miles an hour. Overnight lows sit in the mid to upper 70s, and tomorrow we got a hot one, 95 degrees out there for the high. Heat index is going to push up probably about 104, 105 through the day. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
We do have some new issues on the traffic board. Let's see. Traffic looks like we have some new categories, if you will. 6500 block of Ambassador Caffrey, that's in Broussard. We have a traffic accident, no injuries. Also, a minor traffic accident, 5700 block of Ambassador Caffrey. That's as you're headed out Broussard, kind of into Lafayette, if you will. We have a hit and run suspect leaving the intersection of Vero School Road and Regency Road. The address on Vero is 623 Vero School Road at its intersection with Regency Road, and a minor traffic accident on I-10 eastbound. We've had some mishaps over on I-10. I-10 eastbound looks like mile marker 100. Watch out for that area. And that's it. So definitely buckle it up and keep it safe out there on this Thursday morning. Welcome back to Acadiana's Morning News. Mark Pope in. Tracy Wirtz will be back with us tomorrow. We're going to continue our law enforcement segment. We have Miss Elizabeth Bernard. She's with the St. Landry Parish Crime Stoppers Office and some other agencies, if you will, under St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office. St. Landry Abilities, we're going to talk about exactly what that is. So, Elizabeth, good morning. Appreciate your time this morning.
Hi, Mark. Good morning. Thanks for asking me back.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so one of the, I guess we'd say, agencies of the St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office that you're affiliated with is St. Landry Abilities. Tell us exactly what that is and how, what population in Vermilion Parish does that benefit, the program?
Actually, it's in St. Landry Parish, and St. Landry Abilities is a nonprofit organization. There's really no affiliation with the St. Landry Crime Stoppers or the St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office. But what St. Landry Abilities does is they offer support to people that when it was founded, you know, everyone was looking for resources, and you have to go to different spots. You have to call this agency. You have to go to these websites, you know. So what they did was they pulled all of these resources together into one spot, into an organization, which they founded as St. Landry Abilities. So its members now, it's like a one-stop shop. You know, you can find your support. You can find people who are going through the same things you are. So you can get resources for your child or for yourself if you have a disability.
Okay, so even though they're not directly affiliated with St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office, it does make the job of first responders easier when you've got a special needs person who needs attention.
It does. The St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office has a special needs section, and what they do is they actually give out a card for special needs. This card it came into play during Autism Month, which we just went through recently, and it was given to autism children where parents filled out an application and they listed the parent's name, you know, the age, what special conditions do they have, which disabilities, and this was put on a card for an identification purposes. That way, if there's an emergency, this card can be presented. But not only does the Sheriff's Office do that, they also put all of this information into the system. So if any of our law enforcement officers or fire department or anything has to go out to this residence, you know, on a complaint, then it is in the system that there is a child with a feeding tube there, or there's a nonverbal child, or don't go in yelling because there's an autistic child who is scared of loud noises.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so St. Landry Abilities actually has a board, I guess, board of directors, and you sit on that board of directors?
Yes, I do. I'm a past secretary, but I'm just a regular board member. But what St. Landry's Abilities does is, as I said earlier, we bring support all into one place. And St. Landry Abilities also, you know, they do things for the children. We're not leaving anyone out. We bring them to like Spar Water Park. We bring them to the movies. We have things for the parents and the caregivers. We have a resource workshop coming up where you have availability, to be with other workshops that are other organizations that give out support.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you have a special needs child.
Yes, I do.
Beautiful little girl, looks to be, I'm guessing, about 5 years old.
Oh, very close. She actually just turned 4. She's beautiful. We're so in love. But my husband and I decided to start over at the age of 50, and we adopted a special needs child.
There you go.
She was born with multiple birth defects, and this is how I found St. Landry Abilities. I was looking for help. I was looking for someone who was going through the same thing I was, and I was looking for someone who could just give me a direction to go into. Where can I find resources in this area? Who can help me? Who can even just sit there and listen to me and say, I know what you're going through.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And so I found St. Landry Abilities and submitted an application, and that's how I became a member. Unfortunately, I didn't realize I was submitting a board member application, and I was practically a board member before a member.
I got you. Well, nothing wrong with that. I'm sure you've learned a lot, and it sounds like a very, very, very useful program, and it just makes life a whole lot easier for, again, the parents, the child, and this is not. Is it directed at children?
This is actually directed towards anyone with a disability.
Yeah.
Everybody has special needs on one level or another. And we encourage those people with those special needs to come check us out on Facebook at St. Landry Abilities. And you'll see that we have an email there, stlandryabilities@gmail.com. We'll guide you to the form where you can join to be a member. You don't pay anything. This is an absolutely free service, and we have hundreds of members who you say, hey, I need help. Where can I find this? And you'll find amazing support.
Sure. And what about a website, Elizabeth? Is everything on Facebook, or is there a website?
Everything is on Facebook right now. As I said, go look for St. Landry Abilities. It's a public page, and you'll be able to see the form on top as you go on there where you can join to be a member, and you're welcome to scroll through the post, and you'll be able to see some of the children and adults we have there. But I also want to mention that although we are for people with disabilities, their caregivers, and their parents, we also have professionals that are on our group. And some of these professionals are board members. So if we have the resources right there in front of you, all you have to do is ask for help, and we're there to give it.
Outstanding. Great information. Good luck with the program, and it sounds like it's serving a great purpose in St. Landry Parish. St. Landry Abilities, folks. Check out their Facebook page and get your loved one signed up for that special program. So, Elizabeth Bernard, thanks so much for your information today, and we'll keep our audience informed with your great program. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a short time out. Back with more Acadiana's Morning News coming up. Stay with us.
Phone lines are open. Call the show at 232-1542. 232-1542. Then listen live anytime with the free KPEL News app. Free in the App Store or Google Play.
Welcome back to Acadiana's Morning News as we close out this hour. Coming up at 9:06, following our news, top of the hour news, it's the Moon Griffon Show. All right, today is the 80th anniversary of D-Day, June 6th, 1944. Invasion of Normandy to take over, to regain control of France. Tremendous effort on on 5 beaches in Normandy, the main beach being, of course, Omaha Beach. A coordinated effort of 15 nations, 150,000 troops, 5,000 planes flew 12,000 sorties or missions, 7,000 ships and landing craft brought in the 150,000 troops on the 5 beaches in Normandy. And it's absolutely incredible. But look, once you get past D-Day, it didn't stop, because the Normandy invasion went on for 12 weeks. 12 weeks before we gained a strong enough foothold. And let's see if I can do it in a minute and a half. The deception campaign of how we, the Allied forces, fooled the Germans. It was called Operation Bodyguard. And there were fake radio signals, fake radio traffic sent out to try to fool the Germans. The first phase of the deception campaign was Fortitude North. It was misleading Germans to expect the Allied forces to attack Norway. And in that deception campaign, a fictitious First U.S. Army group, a fake group, was created under the command of Lieutenant General George S. Patton, who was feared by the Germans. U.S. intelligence had cracked the encrypted German secret code called Enigma, so they were able to intercept or get the German response to these fake radio signals. Fortitude North, fake tanks, vehicles were created out of balsa wood. Look, to give the appearance that there were armies and an army ready to cross the English Channel. That fake army was set in Dover, England, and it fooled the Germans. They thought that the attack was going to happen in Calais, France. So there was great intelligence involved, and then our troops, the Allied troops, swooped in on those 5 beaches in Normandy. Okay, so remember D-Day, and thank goodness for our military forces. All right, we're going to take this time out, and for top of the hour news, we'll see you on Friday. Thanks for joining Acadiana's Morning News.
The Fox Business Report is brought to you by Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
More people filed for unemployment benefits last week. The number of new claims rose by 8,000 to 229,000. Also, continuing claims, those remaining on benefits, rose by 2,000 to 1.79 million in the latest reading. The update, along with the job openings and labor turnover report for the end of April and the ADP report on jobs created by private employers, suggest the labor market is cooling. Tomorrow's monthly employment report is expected to be a major factor in whether and when the Fed lowers interest rates. The European Central Bank lowered its key interest rate by 0.25 percentage point today. The Bank of Canada cut rates by 0.25% yesterday. Nvidia shares continued to climb after its record close yesterday. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola. Invested in you.
Success, it's discipline, it's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us that comes before all recognition. It's the best of each of us made better by the best in all of us. It's what Stifel's been doing for over 130 years. And it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management and investment banking firms in the industry. Stifel, it's where success meets success. Start your journey at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.
Should you buy? Should you sell? Where do you start? Join us each Tuesday morning at 7:30 for Real Talk about real estate. Our industry aces, Walter Campbell and Deborah Pierce with Keller Williams, offer advice for buyers, sellers, and investors. From flipping to financing, they'll answer your questions and share tips on how to do it right. Real Talk about real estate, Tuesday mornings at 7:30 on News Talk 96.5, KPEL, on air and on the app.
Russell Wilson here. With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids.
To get involved, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette.
Honoring D-Day heroes. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A 21-gun salute after they played taps in Normandy, France. 80 years after the Allied invasion that turned World War II.
Democracy is never guaranteed. Every generation must preserve it, defend it, and fight for it.
President Biden was joined by some survivors in wheelchairs who are about 100 years old.
From the sea and sky, nearly 160,000 Allied troops descended on Normandy. Many, to state the obvious, never came home.
About 2,500 Americans were killed on D-Day. The president laid a wreath at a cemetery near Omaha Beach, and he also said the D-Day victory underscores the value of alliances, calling NATO the strongest one yet that is committed to stop Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
The United States and NATO and a coalition of more than 50 countries standing strong with Ukraine. We will not walk away.
Now, in response to the U.S. and some allies allowing Ukraine to use weapons they've supplied to attack targets inside Russia, President Vladimir Putin again warned Russia could use nuclear weapons if there's a threat to their sovereignty, and he could also send weapons to other countries to potentially strike Western targets. Hunter Biden back on trial this morning, and the prosecution could call its final witnesses today in the federal case against the president's son, charged with illegally buying a gun in 2018.
Gun salesman Gordon Cleveland is on the stand. Attorneys have focused on that federal gun form, one that asks whether the gun buyer is a drug user. Cleveland says he told Hunter to fill out the federal purchase form truthfully, to take his time. Cleveland says he stood 2 feet from Hunter and saw him answer no to whether he was an unlawful user of drugs.
Fox's Rich Edson outside the court in Wilmington, Delaware. The jury also heard from Hunter Biden's ex-wife and an ex-girlfriend testifying about his drug use. America's listening to Fox News.
You know, our friends at Henry Repeating Arms, they manufacture a line of very high-quality rifles, shotguns, and revolvers that you can be very proud to own. Now, they're made in America with parts and materials also from America. Now, they use old-world craftsmanship combined with cutting-edge technology to deliver reliable and accuracy that you can trust in any situation. Now, they're easy to use and maintain. It makes them an excellent choice for both a novice and experienced shooter. Henry has over 200 models, so you can find the firearm that's right for you. There's also new releases all throughout the year, and every purchase is backed by their lifetime warranty and the company's owner. Anthony Imperato also gives his personal guarantee for 100% satisfaction. Now, make sure you go to their website, henryusa.com, order their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog, free decals, and a list of dealers where you are. You're going to love this company.
Cities around Lafayette Parish are growing and fast. What are the mayors doing to keep up, and how does that affect you? We find out every Wednesday morning at 7 when we talk to the leaders of each city about what they're doing and what they plan to do as more residents and businesses move in. Tune in for Mayor's Minutes, Wednesday morning at 7 on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, on air and on the KPEL app.